Just another update on the second grow tent and the actual seeds that I started, the transplants here. And they're looking pretty good, but I did have some problems, and that first grow tent just wasn't big enough. Everything was too crowded into it. So I'm setting up the second tent, and I'm just gonna had a couple really snowy, crummy days here to work on this. So I'm just gonna work on putting together the second tent here. And first thing I did is I had an old tabletop that I'm gonna cut down to use for a stand for the tent. I'm putting this one on rollers. You can see I love that Makita track saw, works good, and I did find a vacuum hose that fits it perfectly, so it collects all the dust and it fits my shop vac too. I got that for $5 on the Amazon warehouse. I couldn't believe it. It was like a $25 hose somebody bought and didn't want, I guess. But there it is. This is going to be my base. Just an old, it's an old solid core door that somebody had made into a bench top, and like I said, I'm just making it a roller stand. So I got some casters laying around left over from old shelving unit. Supposed to be good for like 1,000 pounds. So they're a stem type, and I had some T-nuts I'm going to put in. So in order to keep everything flush, I just had to counter bore a hole from the top and then drill through with the correct size to allow the shank to fit in. And these T-nuts are great. You just tap them in there, and they really work good and work great on applications like this. So it took me a couple minutes to get this stand put together, but it's going to be the base for the grow light, and it's also going to hold some ventilation equipment to go with it. And there it is, all rolling around. Now I did buy the new tent and the new light, and this is a Mars Hydro light. I went with them again. They may not be the top of the line light, but they work good for me. And I bought a 2x4 by 6 foot tent. Now this light did have a lot of mess, big mess of wiring on top, but it's because they leave extra wiring to be able to move those drivers outside. So then all the brackets that come with the like the fan and the filter and stuff for mounting them in the tent are just basically straps. They're like nylon straps. I didn't like that, so I decided to spend a couple minutes machining up some brackets to mount them solidly. So these are some fan mount brackets I made. And then the big filter, I've been having a problem where my whole basement stinks like tomato plants right now. So I'm going to put a filter on this to try to get rid of some of that smell too. So I just machined some brackets out of actually some of the material that was the case for that Makita long track, but it worked good for the application, and didn't take long to make. And I'm just using some dowels to tie it all together and make a just like a cage to put it in. And the polyurethane dried on the mount for the fan here, and I did have a couple of these vibration grommets laying around from an old project. So I put them in, and actually I'm using some bolts through there. And so things don't vibrate loose, because you really can't tighten the nuts down tight when you're using these vibration mounts. I'm going to put a little bit of Loctite on the actual threads themselves to lock the nuts in place. Now this is just a medium strength blue thread locker. And I find it works good on, applications like this where you just don't want things to shake apart, but you want to be able to get them apart. And I got that one together, and then it's time to cut some rubber strips to actually mount that filter, carbon filter in. So I had some neoprene strips, self-adhesive rubber sheets that I'm cutting up just to make some pads there to hopefully, eliminate any vibration or anything. So I put the grow tent together, and it really, they go together perfect, no problem. So I didn't bother, adding it into the video. And there's the light, and I did get those wires kind of tie wrapped up so that they're out of the way and don't look too bad anymore. And then there's that one bar across the top there for hanging the equipment from. And there you can see my filter mount just slides right over that. I put a couple pieces of rubber on there for vibration. And then the fan mount just goes right there, and they just slip together like that. So really, it's everything mounted solidly now, and I don't have to worry about straps coming loose or anything later. And about the only thing I had a problem with was getting that duct through the opening there. It's supposed to be a 6-inch opening, but it's actually only a 5 3/4, so that was a struggle. But anyhow, light looks like it's perfect for the tent, and I moved my tomatoes in here. I had to spread them out. In the other tent, they were really right up against each other and up against the edge of the tent, and I was starting to see some problems from that. Some of them, the leaves were buried under other leaves, and they started, not getting enough light and stuff there. And I had a couple of them that was this one here. The leaves were up against the wall of the tent, and there was like always a constant moisture between them. And, I had some problems with leaves. So hopefully this will solve it, and we'll get the smell out of the basement too. We'll see. And it's a nice tent, and I'll be doing a follow-up once it gets warm outside to get my venting outside and build an extra filter system for bugs and stuff like that. But, basically that's a new tent, and let's go look at the old tent now. Got plenty of room to spread the peppers out a little bit more, and they're doing really good here. And you can see eggplants are doing good there. Marigolds are going crazy now. And everything, I think it'll be happier now having a little more room. And I could drop the light because the tomatoes were getting a little too high to keep the light at the proper elevation. And there I started some parsley. And, upstairs I still have these zinnias growing. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but thought I'd take you outside. And after the snow is all melted now, the spinach doesn't look too good. Something's been digging in it. But the snow is all melted off the lettuce and the radishes and stuff, and that's doing good. And this poor kale got really squished down by the heavy, wet snow, and I think it'll be okay. It looks like it's starting to come back today now that it's all melted and gone. And, it really did help turn it a little bit greener. So I just wanted to give you another update on, what's going on and what I do on snowy days. And, everything's looking good, and hopefully in a couple of weeks I'll be able to get them out in the garden. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.